In the heart of winter, the Cairn Gorm National Park is both beautiful and brutal. My name is Stephen. This is Howson IRL. Welcome back to another video. I recently completed a winter skills course with Nomad and Mountaineering to sharpen up my survival skills in extreme conditions. Join me today as I dive into the crucial lessons learned and the gear that got me through it. Don't forget to subscribe for more adventure, more gear talk, and a hell of a lot more on Howson IRL. Here we are. I'm at the Cairn Gorm ski centre. Luckily there is snow on the top of the hills. We are going up to the top, which is covered in cloud a little bit at the moment. Right here where we are is about 2.5 degrees. I reckon at the top it's going to be a lot colder. You get weather forecasts which account for the height and the wind chill, and supposedly -14 up at the top. But I feel prepared. I'm dressed for it. My eye's not stopping watering, which is annoying me, but otherwise I feel good and I'm getting ready to rock and roll. Let's go. Now the course covered everything from planning a summit to how to check specific mountain weather, and very importantly the sort of weather that would halt a hike. We discussed avalanche awareness to meticulous gear picking and time management whilst out in the mountains. It was a real eye-opener to the risks that can be present. I learned a lot about the dangers of high wind at altitudes. And I'll be honest with you, I feel a little bit silly saying this, but it never once, not once, did it cross my mind that I would ever not go out on a hike because of bad weather, which now I look back on it seems a little bit dumb. I don't know if that's the military mindset or if I'm just stupid, but I would never once consider not going out because of bad weather. I would just try and dress appropriately and then crack on with it. Now, it was really interesting that my instructor George set an upper limit of 60-mile-an-hour winds as something that he would consider a no-go area. So I'm setting my upper threshold at 60 mile an hour as well. If it's too strong for him, well, it's too strong for me, isn't it? The number one takeaway we had from the planning discussions was the Mountain Weather Information Service website, which I've used frequently since I did the course. The other main takeaway was the danger of avalanches, not something I've had any experience or training of. And in my head, I've seen what they look like and I assumed it was kind of a lot of powder coming your way, when in reality you're probably going to be hit by a double mattress sized sheet of ice. Right, let's talk gear. The right gear is not just about comfort, it's not just about looking good, it's literally about survival. And that's not being dramatic either. Somewhere like the Cairn Gorms, 1,000 meters, the temperature is very different to sea level. If it's 0 degrees at sea level, if the wind is up and it's got a bit of a wind chill factor, you could be looking at something like -20 on the summit. So gear is not just for show, it's going to keep you alive. And I will do a separate video where I discuss layering and all the details around that. Then a bag that I used was the Berghaus MTN Guide 45 Plus Red. And I went with red for a lot of my mountain equipment for safety reasons. Now, pretty much all of the hiking gear and clothing and equipment that I own is black, camouflage, or olive green. But the danger of the mountains is real, so I went with red. Red is the most visible thing out amongst snow or the black of rocks. So I went with red. I've gone with red for my helmet, I've gone with red for my bag, for my axes, and for my jacket. I'm aiming to be seen when I'm out amongst the snow. I also use a Garmin Inreach Mini 2. That's my GPS satellite communicator, and that is a pure safety device that is there to keep me safe when I'm out on the mountains. Okay, ice axes. Ice axes seem to grab everybody's attention. I've got a pair of these. These are the Alpin Tour ice axes. I've got 2 of these. These are the 70 centimeter variety. I went with a slightly longer one because I like using it as a little bit of a handhold as I'm walking up the mountains, and the 70 centimeter one feels real nice in my hand. I haven't taped up the center yet. I haven't really had any issues when it comes to my grip, but I'd be really keen to know anyone that has got experience with ice axes, if you have or you haven't taped them up. I just want to know why you have or why you haven't. At the moment, I haven't really had any dramas at all with gripping it, so I'm probably going to keep them like this for now. These are the SCARPA Manta Tech GTX boots. They are a genuine 4-season mountain boot. Reviews state that these are comfortable for significant amount of hill walking. Not sure I would agree with that, to be honest, because the stiffness in the bottom of the sole, which is what makes them so good for taking a crampon, makes them a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to wearing them for a significant amount of time. But they are great for anything that you need to do at altitude or in snow. They are very, very warm. They are very, very comfortable. I've got a bit of a hand foot going on, and these are quite a wide foot on them as well, so they are extremely comfortable. Crampons. These are the GRIVEL G1 New Classic Evo crampon. And these are the first crampons that I've ever used. They were very easy to fit, they were very easy to use, and they did everything that was advertised on the tin. I think these are going to do the job for everything that I require of them in the UK. You don't really need crampons too much until you get to the summit of pretty much all of the main mountains in the UK. I think when I start looking at getting towards doing some 4,000 metre summits, I might go with a more semi-automatic fit crampon, but for now, these ones do the trick. I took 3 pairs of gloves. One that I was wearing, which was this Mechanix style glove, one mitten sort of over glove in case it got really cold, and one spare set. My instructor had 4 spare pairs of gloves, making me feel a little bit on the underprepared side. He also had a lightweight metal shovel inside his day sack for any avalanche dramas. Again, something that I am new to, so something that I am going to consider going forward. Now, George also only had 2 things in his pocket as well, map and a compass. My pockets are also completely empty, always, and I keep my stuff in this chest pouch. You might have seen me wearing this on some other shoots. I generally use this multicam one, but I am transferring to this black one for my next trip for the mountains. In this is where I keep my GPS, this is where I keep the Garmin. I also have a map and compass, lighter, batteries, hand warmers, a memoir for tying knots. Everything is in here. I'm a big fan of this. Out there at the summit, battling the elements, every single piece of gear has to have a role. So the crampons and the ice axe, these aren't just tools, they are literally lifelines. And I would also say the goggles are a great shout too, especially when you get up and the wind is blowing the snow and the sleet right into your face. Up on the mountain, we got stuck into what we came here to do. We started cutting and edging in to give us a bit more of a stable platform, more surface area contact, and using that to ascend and traverse. Once we had a go at that, we introduced using the axes. Firstly as a little bit of a handhold, and later as a way to gouge out steps as we climb. We did this going up and going down, and then diagonal, until we were comfortable. Then we learned about ice axe arresting. We had to go under control from a few different positions, forcing ourselves down the mountain, and then digging the axe in to stop our descent. Then we got the crampons on, we had a bit of a go walking around, adapting to our feet being covered in a dozen spikes, trying to avoid slicing across your own calf and having a wide enough stance not to trip up and fall over. Well, I failed. Fuck's sake. Then we had a go on some steeper areas of the mountain and looked at the ascents and descents on near vertical slopes, using the techniques that we just learned, being on our toes in the crampons and punching the axe into the snow. This winter skills course was more than just about a bit of survival. It's about respecting the mountains and understanding my own limits. This is a dangerous environment. A fall from the highest that we operate at can be fatal, and the cold can kill just as easily. I'm personally looking to push my own boundaries with this and get out of my comfort zone and see how far I can take this. This is very basic stuff, but it's basic stuff I'd never done before, and I'd like to push to doing those 4,000 metre summits and doing expedition type stuff, and to do that I've got to get the basics right. So this is me putting the basics right. This is a journey, and there's a lot of education required in this journey. Now, I'd recommend this course to anybody. If you're looking for a start in winter sports, you've got to get the basics done, because you want to be a competent, safe user of the mountains. You don't want to have to get mountain rescue called on you because you've overestimated what you can do.